Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well this morning. It's a very good turnout for this live BEMCO webinar on how to become a smart home electrician. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bob Kearney. I'm the Technical Standards Advisor at Select. I represent them on a number of industry committees, including JPL 64, who oversee the standard BS 7671, which many of you will be familiar with. I've been asked by BEMCO, kindly invited by Julian Bart of BEMCO, to introduce this morning's event. So to begin with, I'll just outline the webinar programme. This will start with a short presentation by Chris, which will last around about 20 minutes. Chris Gamble, a Norwich-based smart homes contractor with his own business, Customised. So he has extensive experience to share and knowledge of the products and opportunities that exist for them at this age. Hopefully around about 20-25 minutes for the presentation. This will be followed by a questions and answer session hosted by our very own Craig McGowan. Many of you will know Craig. He's a long-standing member of Select with his company Macform, and also he's the Select's Lanarkshire branch chairman. So as I say, I know many of you will probably know Craig probably personally. Craig and Chris, together with Lutron's Ross Part. Lutron are a large manufacturer of lighting and lighting controls, will be the panel of experts for the question and answer session, and hopefully able to answer any questions raised during the webinar. I may participate as well if there are any particular questions that I can help answer. To raise a question this morning, you could click on the chat button on your control. If you're aware, the third icon along at the bottom of your screen is the chat button. You can raise a question during the presentation on the chat facility. Alternatively, if you want to wait till the end of the presentation, and then Craig will coordinate any questions and the answers that might be forthcoming. Given that, hopefully we will conclude the webinar around about 12:15, and that will be concluded with a prize draw event so that all members who are attending today will have an opportunity to win a free Lutron RA2 Select starter kit and lamp dimmer for smart homes. Now that's worth in excess of £650. And we've got the roulette wheel of fortune that will appear on the screen at that time, and then Craig will announce the lucky winner. I would also at this stage like to thank BEMCO, and in particular Julian. Julian is the purchasing director for BEMCO, and for inviting Select to introduce today's event. As many of you will know, BEMCO are a long-established family business. They're a major supplier of quality electrical products to the electrical industry. They have been around for over 120 years. They're based, their main office is in Newcastle. They've got branches in Scotland, in particular in Edinburgh and Glasgow, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with their product. So they're very well established and are providing a lot of backing to promote smart home technology. Select, obviously, as the leading trade association for electrical contracting in Scotland, we are delighted to be involved with this and give our support to BEMCO. We view today's event as an opportunity for members to understand and develop knowledge of the use and type of technology that's available. This should help them to provide customers with smart home solutions, particularly in the residential market. We believe our members will want to be at the forefront of this technology as the Internet of Things and wireless connectivity product as these sort of technologies advance. And I'm sure that smart homes will be one of the economic drivers for electrical contractors as we come out of this lockdown following COVID-19, no doubt, along with things like energy efficiency, sustainability,
Yeah.
vehicle charging, etc. So, as I say, we view this as an opportunity, some that will be able to help you grow your business. So I hope you enjoy this morning's event, and I will now hand you over to Chris, who will take you through his presentation. So over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Bob. I hope everybody can hear me okay, and it's great to see so many people join this call. It's a fantastic turnout, so a lot of credit to the people over at BEMCO, Julian and Cindy, and to Bob and Craig and Ross for participating and promoting this and facilitating it. So strap in for 20 minutes of smart home comedy. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to pull up my presentation. Leave all the questions to the end for the Q&A. So hopefully you can see that presentation in front of you. So the title is How to Become a Smart Home Electrician. I'm going to just put it out there straight away. I'm not an electrician. Shock horror. I am not an electrician. Maybe I dream one day of becoming one, but I'm not an electrician, but I have vast experience of working with electricians over the last 12 years in the industry and have seen them flourish from the traditional electrician to becoming smart home electricians. So a quick overview of what we're going to cover today, a little bit of an intro to myself. Then we're going to do an intro to the smart home market, look at some numbers and statistics without boring you. That'll also be covered in the market overview. Then we're going to talk about a term I call pain points, and I'll dive into what that means and what's happening within customers' homes. Then I'm going to talk about the pivot, and that's what hopefully some of you are going to perform or have performed or plan to perform, diversifying your business to be smart home electricians and become smarter electricians, but not to forget what your roots are and what your core business is and is available to your local customer base. Going to touch on marketing and how to get the word out there about what you're offering and this new service or new options that are now available to the every home. I'm going to talk about the importance of the supply chain and the support that you need around you to successfully become that smart home electrician. I'm going to highlight a few of the smart home electrical champions out there. I'm going to highlight 4 businesses that I know very well, and some of you probably know them as well from their presence on social media. And then I'll just summarize, wrap it all up, and we'll get into the Q&A and then the big bit at the end, see who's going to win a prize. So hopefully you can see the slides. So Chris Gamble from a company called Customized. I'm the technical director and the founder of that company. That goes back to 2011. And the roots of the company is actually in the Highlands of Scotland. People maybe pick up a subtle Scottish accent on the call, but I started the business in Dingwall in Scotland, where I grew up, although didn't spend all my early years there. I was in the military, telecoms expert in the Royal Air Force, and then when I left the Air Force, started my own business, Customized, 2011. Moved the business to Norfolk in 2014 to expand it and to participate in this new wave of smart home that was coming. I wanted to be closer to the action. Just a quick one, if somebody's got their microphone not on mute, you could just mute that, please. Sorry, just picking up some background noise. It might just be me, but so just to repeat that, relocated my business from the Highlands of Scotland down to Norfolk, and that positioned me in striking distance of London and surrounding areas, where it is the centre of the universe for smart home. Unfortunately, in our UK market, it is where a lot of businesses gravitate to do their smart home installations. And I followed a classic blueprint of big, complicated, heavy wiring systems, laptops, programming, headaches, big overheads, big risks, but decided to pivot my own business into something that was easier, short, sharp, quick installations, dealing with thousands of customers instead of hundreds, or even in some cases, businesses are only dealing with dozens of customers, but delivering big, big projects. We decided to go for a bigger number, but maybe less costs per installation. I also participate in a weekly podcast called The Digital Ramble. So if you go and check out that, you can catch up what we talk about every week in the world of smart home. And I'm probably one of the biggest supporters and advocates of electricians becoming the smart home technician for UK homes. I believe electricians are and should be the trusted tradesperson to deal with the wired home, whether that's electrical or technology. So the Google definition of a smart home is a home equipped with lighting, heating, and electronic devices that can be controlled remotely by smartphone or computer. And that's the Google definition. But I would add in there something new that's occurred in the last 2 or 3 years, and that's voice. Voice has become a huge driver for smart home, and I'll talk about how that has actually, created massive awareness of controlling your home for a homeowner. Voice has been a big driver in that. Quick look at the smart home market without boring you. Figures there on the slides there. In UK pounds, we're looking at the market in 2017, in excess of 2,000 million, going a big jump over a 2-year period to over 3,000 million. Then, and that even includes allowing for COVID-19, we're still going to see a huge jump up this year and next year. And then finally, nearly over doubling in size in that 6-year window, we're going to see the market being worth over 5,000 million UK pounds by 2023. And the driver in that is affordability. It's the involvement of household brand names that people know and trust and maybe have invested in over the past and are seeing smart home options from brands that they've owned for decades and decades. That awareness is increasing through advertising from these big brands. It's hard to not go into a home nowadays and see a voice assistant sitting on the countertop and finding out that the homeowner controls a smart plug or views a doorbell or a camera from that voice assistant. And that's things that they're doing on their own. And we'll talk about why they also need a pro to help them when things get tough. And main drivers for the UK smart home entertainment, still a big one. Everybody still enjoys that big screen on the wall, accessing all their favorite streaming content. Home security is a big one, and not just for break-ins and safety. It's also monitoring of your home for new phenomena like home deliveries. That ability to talk to the delivery person when they're dropping off that parcel. It's been a big driver of people adding smart devices on the outside of their home to see what's happening even when they're in their office or at the other side of the world. And then connectivity. As internet speeds have increased, people have realized that they need Wi-Fi around their home, inside and outside. They're seeing the difference with when they improve their connectivity, the experience gets better, that less buffering, less competition between devices. Internet speeds are increasing. We need to be the people that are increasing the connectivity performance between devices inside the home. Just going to move something on my screen. So, homeowner pain points. This is a term that I came up with some colleagues over the years and it's based on experiences of being in customers' homes and speaking to them, that often, customers were asking us to come and see them because they had a frustration or some friction that was being added to their lifestyle and their home life that they didn't enjoy. And some of the big homeowner pain points, they are the opportunity for us to provide our services. So we need to be looking and listening out for and talking about, having these discussions with homeowners about the classic pain points. The big one I talked about earlier, slow internet or poor Wi-Fi coverage. People aren't aware of the options to increase the speed of their internet, boost the performance of their Wi-Fi system, and make their system more secure and more user-friendly to different age groups in the household, and in particular things like parental controls and guest Wi-Fi networks. So you need to be listening in for that pain point. It's a big one, especially in rural areas. People talking about slow internet, fed up waiting for the classic providers. There are options that you can provide to give people super fast internet in timescales that beat the big internet service providers. Another one is the security concerns. That could be a reaction to a break-in. It could be a reaction to something that's happening regionally or on their street, or they've got a vacant property that they might want to monitor, especially in this current climate. People lucky enough to have a second home or maybe even a business premises that they're not able to get to because of restrictions. They want to monitor it. A camera, a doorbell, sensors can alleviate some of those concerns that they have. And in a lot of cases, very, very simple and fast to install. On the energy side of things, household bills, again, I keep referencing current climate. We're all going to be looking at our outgoings and reviewing how we can cut back a little bit. Technology can reduce those household bills. It can save energy with lighting, with controlling of power, with adding renewable technology. You can be a great ally to that homeowner to reduce those household costs. And now, as we go into 2020, we're 12, 13 years after the launch of the iPhone. People have invested so much in technology over the years. They've gone into that big box store up at the retail park and bought, a big screen 7, 8 years ago, and they're wondering, why can't I get 4K? Why can't I get that video streaming service from Disney, that's just launched? That kind of things are them realizing that their old tech is letting them down or not keeping up a pace with new tech that's appearing. So listen out for those things like, Chris, do I need 4K? Is my TV 4K? Or how do I listen to Spotify in the bathroom? How do I, why is the camera quality so poor, yet my friend has got this battery-powered doorbell that's crystal clear HD video? Their old tech needs a refresh. Look out for those frustrations and be reactive to them. There's going to be a lot of clues put out in front of you by homeowners, and you're the trusted tradesperson. You've already got the local reputation of looking after their electrics, maybe looking after their renewable tech. They're going to look at you as a first option to help them with their home tech, because they just assume that you're going to know these things because it's to do with wires and power. So they're just going to assume that you know this. This is why you have to be prepared to take on those opportunities and not pass them on to other people who, you might never get back into that house. The other frustration people have is they're confused about the technology available. They don't know what works with what they've already got, or they don't know, that you can have more of like a single app kind of lifestyle instead of having 14 or 15 apps. They don't know that, there's voice assistant options, multiple options for voice control, not just from their favorite online shop. There are other places that can provide you with voice control. So again, it's just that conversations with the homeowner of addressing things that are complicated to them, but should become simple for you and second nature to you to just have these conversations about tech. And then the biggest pain point that we see in our market, and I did say that we work in and around the London area, which you know, fortunately, very affluent area with higher salaries than the rest of the country, people have the income to ask you to do it for them. You know, I don't have the time or the patience or the desire to do it myself. So please, can you install this product I've bought, or can you supply me the product and do it for me? Those are, again, just trigger points to shine, to come into the equation and offer your services. So that pivot to becoming the smart home expert isn't that daunting. You know, you're already the nation's trusted tradesperson for anything wired in the home. And that's, you know, when I wrote that sentence last night, lastminute.com on the presentation, you know, the electrician is such a trusted tradesperson in so many households. You know, you've built up relationships over years and years with these homeowners. You've got this great returning customer base. You know, you've got that referral network that keeps coming through. And now you're going to start talking to your customer base about smart home. And you shouldn't be afraid to talk about this. So repeating it again, that conversation with homeowners, you're in there, you're doing an additional socket, some additional lighting, fitting a feature pendant, you're doing some other general electrical work for them. Start having that conversation. They're going to ask you, how's business, what's new, how's things going during lockdown? Say, well, you know, it's been actually a good period for us. We've actually done a lot of training. We're now offering some smart home services. You know, I don't know how you're going to start the conversation, but the opportunities are going to come out, and you know, they might be that they're asking you how things are, or they're talking about a pain point again that they're experiencing, and that moves it on to that easy win. Address that pain point. Don't try and sell them the fully connected home on the first sort of interaction with them. Don't go all in and say, yeah, we're gonna empty your bank account of £50,000 and give you the same level of home control as Bill Gates or celebrities. You know, look for that easy wins. You know, they might not be massive money generators, but they're going to start building confidence. They're going to start leading to referrals, because when customer A invites customer B round, they see the doorbell, they see the music system playing in the kitchen, they see the TV wall mounted on the wall without the wires, they see the homeowner interacting with their home via voice. Those things are so simple to install. You know, the tech is easy. Yes, there are complicated products out there that need lots of programming and hand-holding and lots of time spent on them. And you will discover those more the longer you're in the smart home industry. You know, they will be put in front of you by all the capable salespeople around the industry. They're going to tell you about these other systems, but you're looking to start off things that are not going to trip you up. They're not going to give you pain points. You don't need the pain points. You want to ease into smart home, but obviously show a great aptitude and ability at installing smart home. So don't worry about the tech. The tech's not difficult. You'll work it out in seconds. Focus on the process. How do I sell more smart home installations? How do I get hold of these products and maximize any margin that is available on them? How do I get a reliable supply of the product so that I'm not disappointing customers that I can't get hold of the Megatron 3000 remote control that I said was awesome and now I can't even get hold of it? So look at your supply chain, look at how you're selling. I'm just gonna move this tab. It seems to get in the way of the presentation. And look at the system of work. This is an important one, especially if you've got staff, you've got experienced and trainee staff. How can you involve all of these people in the installation of doorbells, cameras, thermostats, smart lighting, motorized blinds? How can you get them involved so that you're not the only specialist in your company? Spread that knowledge throughout your staff, concentrate on getting them trained, make sure they've got the resources in their vehicles, any specialist tools, any type of cabling they need for these systems. Focus on that. The tech is not the challenge here. And then, you know, hey, from personal experience, I'm going to say it, you know, walk first. Don't go all in on this complicated, hard to use, hard to deliver, hard to support products. If you're not confident in that, then avoid it to begin with, you know, because I know that these big projects will I say it there, they'll chew you up and spit you out. They are headache central if you don't deliver it correctly. The people that deliver these projects are the superstars of smart home. I take my hat off to their ability to deliver, in some cases, 7-figure smart home projects. And what they do is the elite level. We're not all going to be elite level. And in the early months and years of providing smart home, that should just be a distant dream, you know, and you will get to that, but you have to work your way up to that. Okay, so this smarter electrician should still be an electrician. Yes, you're talking about smart home. It's exciting. It's, you know, maybe feels more glamorous than what you were doing in the past, but don't forget your core business. That's what's initially is going to pay the bills. It's going to keep the roof over your heads and your staff members' heads. That's what you're known for. So please never forget your roots. Because smart home is a slow burner. You're introducing something new to your area, to your customer base, and they're not going to go, hey, take all my money. You're going to get all this work. It might be that it's 1 to 5% of your business in year one. It might be then 10 to 15% of your business in year two. And, you know, in some cases, I've seen companies, it becomes all of their business. They become full-blown smart home electrician and very selective of projects that they do. And in you know, very extreme cases, they drop the electrician and they just become smart home contractors. One advice I've given to anybody that I've worked with is to put your prices up. You are smarter than the other guys and girls in your area that are traditional electricians. Please put your prices up. You have invested in training, in your own training, your staff's training, the hours that you've spent learning this new craft, the specialist tooling, the promotion, the marketing that you've had to do. We'll talk about that, what you might have to do and invest in to tell people that you are the smart home electrician in your area. Please put your prices up. Don't be afraid to do it. You're so distinctive from the rest now that you shouldn't be the same price. So for me, that's one of the early steps, you know, review your pricing and put them up. You're offering far more of a service than the rest. Big fan as well of also investing in some tech for your own home and office. You've got to live in a smart home to be able to sell smart home. I'm a huge believer in that you will be able to answer swiftly and correctly customers' questions. You know, they're going to put scenarios to you that you've maybe faced in your own home, and now you're living a different way, that you're not missing deliveries. You're not, you know, your kid's Wi-Fi is scheduled. You know that you're living now without buffering on-demand TV because you improved the network, you enhanced your home security, you know, and you're living in it. And not just you, your family, you know, your husband or wife, partner, the kids, guests to the home, people coming round that enjoy your Wi-Fi in the garden when you've got a barbecue, or they're wowed by the music coming from the ceiling in your kitchen, dining, living area. They're wanting to come around to watch football and movies and, you know, music concerts on your TV, your home cinema setup. Invest in it because it will help you sell it. And you don't have to spend a fortune, you know. Another way to do it is to put it into your office, you know. Create a little demonstration area. What was your meeting room? Put a nice screen up on the wall, a sound bar, some speakers, some smart lighting, a motorized blind, and make it a smarter meeting room for your business. Just to hammer it home again though, do not forget your roots. It's important that you don't forget that you're the local electrician that people have seen grow from, you know, the young person in the van running around town to then having staff, then having premises, then, you know, having hundreds of customers. Don't forget the journey you've been on, because people will only ever remember you as the local electrician. They might not get the smart home element. So you have to keep reminding people that you're still the local electrician that they know and trust. And then, you know, spread the news, talk to everybody on site, talk to all your suppliers, talk to the people at Select, talk to people on social media, put out more posts than you maybe have never done in the past to say, you know, what you're doing is new, exciting, and available to everyone in your area. Which leads me on to the marketing part. And, you know, there's some obvious things that can help you communicate that you're now a smarter electrician. And that's word of mouth, that building site conversations, that talking to the developers that you've had long-standing relationships with. Talk to them about this new thing that you think they should have as standard in their new homes or their refurbishment projects. You know, talk to them about just the basic wiring needed in a home, regardless of the tech. Talk to them about how you can make their homes future ready, and maybe even add that little bit extra to the price tag of the properties, because they're smarter homes. Collaboration is a good one. It's something that I do every day. I collaborate with electricians, I collaborate with security providers, I collaborate with interior designers, lighting designers. I don't claim to know everything there is to know or can deliver everything there is to deliver. I do that through collaboration. And one of my roles is more as a main contractor for tech. I'm the client liaison, but I'm bringing in an alarm company, bringing in an approved electrical contractor, and bringing in a lighting designer if the project has the budget and desire for having that. So collaborate with other businesses. Don't try not to be the solo act and you know, the all encompassing smart home brain. Work with others that can help you all get to a lot further down the road a lot quicker. Social media is a big way to tell people about what you're doing. Videos, images, stories, blog posts, a refresh of your website possibly, but you need to be setting up those social media accounts on the main platforms. So your Instagrams, Facebook, Snapchat, possibly, it's a new one, and if you're confident with that, go with that. And then YouTube, create videos, take pictures, talk to the camera, start to build up confidence of talking about smart home, not just face to face, but to your smartphone, and use that videos later to then upload to YouTube with some nice keywords. You'll be amazed some of the leads you get from platforms like YouTube, like Facebook Watch, like Instagram TV. It's a big part of my business. It's where we get anywhere between 40 and 60% of our sales leads annually come from social media and YouTube. Don't forget the face-to-face networking. I know it's difficult at the moment, but when things have this new normality, we'll be able to go back to our business networks that we're members of, you know, industry gatherings, business networking groups or events, business expos, these kind of things that are in the area that you may have went to in the past, or you're a participant in it. Maybe you're in like a BNI group or something like that, or a Chamber of Commerce group. Go there and tell people what you do. You have got a far more interesting story than most of the people there. Tell them what you're up to. It's fresh, it's exciting. They're probably bored to the back teeth of listening to solicitors and social media experts trying to sell them, you know, marketing packages. Tell them about smart home. They will really enjoy talking to you, and you might see your profile boost a lot if you're an active participant in local networking. Press is another outlet. Don't dismiss it. It's seen as more the traditional or legacy way of communicating, but there's still merit in local press. It could be through a press release, it could be through advertising, but look at being creative and frugal with your spend, because it can be expensive to advertise locally in the press. Look at other ways like press releases and give them content that they can put out there, because they're desperate for it, especially in the days of printed press having a hard job keeping up with social media's traction. And everything that you communicate should never confuse your customers. There still needs to be that repetitive message of being still the local electrician, but just smarter. There's also a dialogue that you should be sticking to that's not, you're not talking to another electrician, you're not talking to another techie, you're talking to a homeowner, you're talking to someone that's a busy working mum that's just needing to get the key facts of, yes, this is going to improve my Wi-Fi, yes, I'm going to see who's at the front door on my smartphone when I'm out at the park or I'm at work. You have to communicate in a way that you're talking to customers. And too many people in this industry, and specifically in my industry of smart home installation, they're just talking to their mates. You know, hey, look at this cable, look at this rack, look at this tools, look at this van. Ditch that. Talk to consumers. You're there to sell. You're not there to make friends with your industry. You can do that on other platforms. Social media is not the place to hang out with the lads. So going on to the importance of your supply chain and the support that they provide. Obviously, for years you've dealt with electrical wholesalers. They've kept you stocked for years with the equipment you need to deliver all your electrical installations. They're now going to become the ally to help you access smart home products. So identify wholesalers like BEMCO, you know, appreciative of what this platform they've set up for us all today to talk about smart home. They are a forward-thinking electrical wholesaler. They have stocked their branches with smart home tech. They have got the support documentation like brochures, like sales sheets, like point of sales displays. They have training rooms. They have the facilities to help selling smart home easier for you. So tap into their resources. They will have done a lot of investment and homework into the smart home market and will have identified products that will help you do more business in people's homes. And they will have tapped into trusted brands. You know, they would have made a lot of decisions about who to partner with for lighting solutions, security solutions, climate control solutions. They will have done a lot of that, but you also have to do that as well. You have to identify some core brands for your business that are going to help you deliver successful smart home installations that work for your customers. They're going to have to be reliable. They're going to have good warranties. And, you know, the best example of that is Lutron, you know, again, active on this webinar, but I'm not saying it to blow smoke up their backsides. Lutron is top of the tree when it comes to a trusted brand. That 60-year business heritage, the leading company for lighting and LED dimming, window treatments. If you can put your business behind something like that, you're going to struggle to lose. You're going to struggle to mess this up. If you back or put yourself behind brands like that, the road to success becomes a little bit less bumpy. Still ups and downs. We all know what business is like, but having these brands around you like Lutron and the supply chain from BEMCO will make it a lot smoother. You might have to look for new suppliers. You might find that you're needing to get new cable types. You might need to find places where there's new tooling you need or training you need for your team. So do your research, look at things like trade publications. Social media is a great way of discovering new suppliers, but just don't get too excited by it, because they're gonna just snap you up as this new fresh installer of tech and put everything in front of you and all the flashing lights and sales brochures that will just whip you up into a frenzy to just try and keep a lid on it, because it is exciting. And the thing I've got there is training with limits. I've seen so many people come into this industry and spend a year training and install nothing. They spend all their time training. Oh, I did this training course. I'm now authorized to do this. I'm authorized to do that. I'm an approved installer of this. But they never install the tech, because they've learned how to program something. They didn't learn how to sell it. They didn't know how to, they struggle to sell it. They know the tech, but they don't know the process to actually get that into customers' homes. You might be in the lucky position that you've got the sale, then you have to do the training. That's a different scenario, but try and identify training that's going to help you sell smart home, support smart home, and then look at the advanced training that's needed. But it will be put in front of you by training providers. Sign up today and do all this training with us. Just be aware that there might be a year after the training before you even plug your laptop into some of these systems, and then you'll be back on the training to learn it again. Identify pro schemes, and by that I mean things like the Lutron Pro scheme that's in its infancy. I think it's about to be launched, or it's coming soon, but this is a pro scheme that gives you access to branding material, marketing material, training resources, and also brings you into a network of other professionals to be part of a network. Another big one is Nest Pro is a successful one where people I know have got a lot of sales leads from them. It's one that I get a lot of regular leads from. And, you know, look at joining some of these schemes to help give you that simple badge of honor. You know, it's not, they're not difficult to get them, but it gives you that little bit of edge on your communication, your marketing material, and it gives you something to talk about to the press, to the business networking group, to your homeowners. And the last one, we'll need some explanation, but this is a term that I've come up with recently that is it's something that's going to cloud your judgment, and I'm calling it the margin mask. You get given these products with high margins, products you've never heard of, but you're completely transfixed with the 50%, the 60% markup that's available. But what you've done, you put this mask on, and now you've forgotten that these companies and these brands are completely unknown to a homeowner. So it becomes very difficult to have conversations to them about brand X, but you're desperate to sell it because you know, if I sell all that boxes, I'm going to get 50% in my bank account. Therefore, I can buy that new vehicle. I can buy all that tech for my office. But what you've forgotten is you've put something into someone's home that goes outside of that core brands. It goes outside of what you were wanting to do was that easy wins, that you were wanting to build up relationships. Now you've started to put complicated tech into people's homes that they have no access to. They have no ability to make changes to it themselves. They're locked out. You're fully committed to a system for a home because you put on that margin mask and you wanted to be make more money, but what you didn't think about was your customer. So always reverse engineer from your customer, from your homeowner, that you're not there to add friction. You're not there to add pain points. So just be mindful of being lured into these unknown brands with huge margins. I always have to be controversial at some point in a presentation. So who is doing this? So I've picked out 4 champions who I've followed over the years, and they're all doing very different things in different parts of the country, but these are people that you should be following on social media. These are people that you should be hitting up in a direct message because they're very approachable people. These are people that are success stories. The first one there is Harpenden Electrical. Alan Treacher has been in the smart home game since the start, since I would say in excess of 15 years, I'm sure. he recognized straight away that he needed to be an electrician and a smart home installer, and he blended it perfectly to now becoming, in his area, he is the local tech expert. Harpenden Electrical, look for them on Instagram, you know, and reach out to people like Alan with huge knowledge base of what worked and what didn't work for his business. The second one is Art of Smart. I'm going to say it, if you don't know who these people are, then you've probably got like a Nokia 3210 in your pocket, because these people are all over social media. This company is the rising star of smart home installation, but their roots are electrical. Rich Heppel, the owner, is an electrician. That's his trade. He started this business off frustrations from working with other electricians, or as a member of staff. He started his own business to become a one-stop smart home provider to the luxury home market. And his rise in 3 years has been incredible to watch, and tune into his social media content to see how a smart home electrician can reach heights you didn't imagine. Then Aura Home Tech, a friend of mine, Ben, he was, say it as you see it, an electrician, electrical contractor, you know, a couple of guys working for him, nice branded vans, and they were the local electrician. He started to see the introduction of smart homes, saw the opportunities, but didn't feel he was winning projects because of maybe the branding of his business or the impression of his business, that he was losing out, not through his ability or his knowledge, but they wanted to, they felt they were losing out. So they did a full rebrand, a full refresh, and actually have just become a smart home company now. They're not traditional electrics at all. So that's that full pivot they've performed to just be a smart home provider to their customers. So definitely one to check out there, Aura Home Tech. And then an individual in this industry that I'm always inspired by is Gabby Hughes, a Welsh-based electrician, but somebody that's rapidly learning and adding smart home to her expertise. Her background is obviously domestic electrics plus security, but now adding in smart home to start delivering it to her customers. And her social media content is excellent. Her work rate is infectious. Her thirst for knowledge and actually her experience is now growing very, very quickly. So she's definitely one to watch, who's in their early phase of that pivot. So these are people that have done it all. They're all still actively doing it. And then there's also people there that are at the early stages of becoming a smart home electrician. So let's get Chris off the screen and get to the Q&A. So to wrap it all up, don't be afraid of the tech. The tech is easy. You will discover that. If you choose the right brands, the tech is not the challenge. The challenge is the system, the supply chain, and the delivery. Work with your existing customers. You know, it's expensive to go and try and win new business. You've already got dozens and dozens of customers that trust you. Start having the conversations with them about smart home. That walk before you run analogy, you will get burnt if you go into the deep end. You might survive, or you might have to get thrown a rescue ring from the lifeguard. But if you go up to that deep end, be prepared for bigger risks, but obviously big rewards. Identify those trusted brands, both on the supply chain and on the manufacturer. Lutron's the obvious one as a excellent entry into smart home. Make your own home or business smart. Goes without saying, you've got to live it to sell it. Tell people about it on all the traditional platforms, but also start to develop your output on social media. Listen to your customers. They will give you the clues. They will describe an installation without them realizing they've just described an installation. And it will be around the classic pain points of missing deliveries, security concerns, and poor connectivity. Those kind of things, you need to be listening out for those triggers. Don't forget your roots. You've still got a huge commitment to your customer base as being their electrical contractor. their trusted tradesperson that they've worked with over the years. Don't get all fancy, being the smart home guy and you don't have time for your existing customers. Maybe you have to add new staff. Maybe you have to expand the size of the business to also be smart home. But don't forget what got you where you are, what pays the bills, and what's the consistent thread of your business. That is your electrical contractor roots. And of course, enjoy it. This is exciting. We are in a fantastic era of home technology with cloud connectivity, artificial intelligence, 8K video, streaming services. You can watch any program from around the world on your TV. You can talk to your home. It can make decisions on who's in the house, what time you're home, trigger stuff when you're not there. It is crazy what it can do. You just need to get your head around it, engulf yourself in it, and start selling it to customers. So I've been Chris Gamble from Customized. You can find me on social media at Customized, generally across all platforms. And if you want to check out our website, customized.uk.com. I'm going to hand you over to Craig and the rest of the guys for a Q&A. I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for that, Chris.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Morning, everybody. My name's Craig McGowan, and as Bob said earlier, I've been a select member since 2002, and I'm currently the Lanarkshire chairman. So I've been in the electrical industry for 29 years. So when I started, the 16th edition had just came in, and some of you remember that. And I say quite a lot. I can remember the days when it used to be a light switch, a pendant, and 4 sockets in a room. That's all changed now. That's well in the past. And but our company in the last couple of years has been moving into this. So we've been using Lutron, we've been using Heat Miser, Risco, Hikvision. So it's the way forward. As I said, it's a thing of the past now, just having a couple of sockets and you're running a 2.5, you're running a 1.5. It's all about now future-proofing, putting in the Cat 6s and the CT 100s and making sure you're putting them in to the right places as well. So I think we've got a couple of questions to start with anyway. First of all, I'm saying, Chris, you spoke about maybe having the low speed coming into the house. How would you then go about fixing that? Not just access points, not actually the speed coming in at the source into the router. Okay,
so sometimes just a conversation with the internet service provider can cure that. You might be paying for the wrong package. That's a basic thing to check. But if we're sure that they're not getting speeds or speeds aren't available, we look at wireless options. So we look at 4G, using 4G speeds that are available in huge parts of the country, using a router on the outside of the building, an antenna with a SIM card, piping that into the home into a router and then connecting it to their wireless distribution system. You can get speeds in excess of 100 megabits per second on the download of 4G connection, average maybe 50 to 60. So it's a way of increasing the speed for customers by an antenna, one cable, and a SIM card.
Okay, cool.
There are also, I would say, Craig, various products on the market for extending Wi-Fi if you've got a larger house and maybe you have poor Wi-Fi in certain areas. So there are socket outlets that have built-in Wi-Fi extenders now, which can also be used to improve connectivity in certain rooms within dwellings in particular.
Yeah, definitely do your research on the systems that's going to distribute Wi-Fi. Plug-in tech, plug-in extenders might not give a great experience in terms of, a messy list of SSIDs or Wi-Fi networks to connect to. Look at a mesh system. Look at how they give you a single network. They talk to each other. They hand over your device from top of the house to the bottom of the house to the garden to the basement. a mesh system, just a little bit more intelligent, and it's a system that's come around in the last year or two. Mesh Wi-Fi is the one to cure the dead spots in the house.
Cool. Can I just say, if anybody's got any questions, if they can write them in the chat or just raise your hands so we can see them in the reactions, and then we'll put them to the panel. And just another question I had there. How important is it for having a smart meter in a smart home, Chris? Is there anything?
I wouldn't say it's something that's playing a big part in smart home adoption. It's something that the energy providers are putting in. I think there are smart monitoring devices that you can put in your own home for individual device consumption, or it's to monitor your renewable generation in the home, and maybe that's also fed into a smart home system to give you an overview of weather, energy, lighting, music. So yes, there's smart meters available, but they're not really talking to the rest of your smart home. But you can use systems in your home that give you some personalized data from devices.
Cool. Just looking through some of the. How can the use of multiple wireless devices in a home be split up a bit to make more reliable connections? We see a lot of dropouts, we suspect due to many wireless devices all connected to the one router and blocking up the channels and frequencies.
Yeah, so that's where developing your skills with Wi-Fi and networking is crucial. You need to be almost like an IT professional to start to decipher what's happening in your network, what channels are being utilized, and are those channels in a noisy part of the frequency range. So managing your network is one part, but also introducing a more intelligent Wi-Fi system, which has, for example, a controller that's making those decisions based on signal strength of the device, the channel of the wireless access point, maybe having different network names like a guest network or a network just for smart home devices, and then a different network for your your handheld devices. So you have to be pretty knowledgeable on networks to deliver it, but also identify systems that have that controller that does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, for sure.
Greg, just on that one as well, it comes back to the pre-wiring as well of the houses. So if you've got Cat6s ran to TV points, it means that they can be plugged in now, and they're not being heavy consumers of your Wi-Fi, because everything that you add on is going to slow down the speed of your Wi-Fi through your house. Your kids are streaming Netflix or whatever else you're trying to do a Zoom call. It's going to be difficult. Also, look at things. So there's quite a lot of hype around there, and we come up against it quite a lot with connected lamps, for example. They're all sitting on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum. That's consuming your Wi-Fi network that's there as well. So when Chris is talking about the heavy usage, try and look at systems that aren't putting heavy demands on the Wi-Fi side of things, that they can be wired in. And from our side of things, the way our RF works, our wireless system works, it's on 868 megahertz, which is our Clear Connect. So it takes it away from being Wi-Fi. We've got one point that's wired onto the Wi-Fi network or into the LAN, and then after that, everything else is done by our proprietary wireless or RF signal. That way, we're not consuming loads of data and streaming capabilities from that side.
Yeah, Ross, I think that's a good point. As a lot of the other equipment you can buy, and you're adding it in as smart lighting, where you need to get into the router and things as well, and like maybe split the 5 and the 2.4 system. So the Lutron's basically a plug and play, the gateway straight into the router, and then basically learn everything on, and away you go. So I think that's another good point. Is for guys in Select that's trying to get into something like smart lighting. I think that obviously the lighting's the first maybe port of call for an electrician going into this kind of thing. So as I said, it's no rocket science. Am I right, Chris? You plug basically the gateway into the router, and then basically learn on your devices.
Yeah, this is what came around with brands talking to each other. There's cloud to cloud communication. The brands are doing the communication between each other. They're doing the heavy lifting. They're doing things that people used to have to program in the past, and you used to have to do some complicated things in your router, like, you know, VPN, set up VLANs, things that, you know, dynamic DNS kind of stuff that wasn't comfortable for a lot of people. Cloud to cloud and devices talking to each other, you know, in the background without the installer having to stick their fat fingers in there. It's really alleviated a lot of pressure on you as the business owner, but has also made the experience much better for the homeowner, and there's no risk of things tripping up at times when you don't need it to trip up.
Cool. I've got another question here from Grant. For future-proofing new builds, what's the minimum data cables you would be installing these days at first fix? Cat 6, Cat 7? Would you even consider fibre? Or is it unlikely it will ever be necessary? Well, I just speaking first, when we're installing, we usually take something like 2 CT100 satellites and 2 Cat 6 to every room in the house. So, Chris, would you like to come in that one? What do you think?
Similar approach. I will say, as a business, we have started to use category 6A that little bit more. Right. Just being conscious of demands for video distribution, which is in a decline. You know, pushing video around your home is not as complicated as it used to be, because now the TVs have the apps built in. So if you can get that TV on the network and stream your content, then it means you've got less boxes hidden in a rack somewhere. You've got less points of failure with a video system. But again, works great until the moment when you need it, and then it lets you down. Whereas that app built into the smart TV is very, very consistent nowadays, and gives you that consistent interface on the kitchen, the living room, and the bedroom TV, because you're just pulling up that app. It even remembers what you paused in the kitchen. You can start playing again in the living room. Cat 6A is just giving us, or our customers, that little bit more headroom on data capacity. And they talked about fiber as well. Fiber does have a role. We've seen it installed in a unterminated fashion, so just putting in a 4-core or a 2-core fiber to maybe the main TV point in the lounge, or to a media room or cinema room, or to a rack location. We've seen fiber being a part of linking buildings. So if you've got the opportunity to get from building to a garden building that's in excess of the copper requirements, then look at pre-terminated fiber optic for linking buildings. Or, you know, the backup is you can always go wireless point to point between buildings as well. But fiber is a difficult one to deal with in the home, terminating and testing. It's just not normal to see it. So if you can get the best quality copper. Cat 7, we've seen that feature. I do find it a difficult cable to work with. I find it difficult to get decorative modules that are compatible with that type of cable. So just remember that it's a 4-bedroom detached home and not the Bank of England. So maybe just be mindful of where you're working, and the need for the cable doesn't need to be, you know, as high performing as you think.
I've got a question coming from a couple of people. What training is available from what companies? And they're saying they're totally new to this, so any advice is welcome.
Yeah, can I go for that one first? Yeah. Oh, sorry, we've got free online training. I'll get Julian at BEMCO to send out the link for the training. So that starts right from basics, as in how to dim a light source, and it travels right up through how to do all of our systems. So it gives a good in-depth, and there's multiple segments of the training, so you can go on at your own peril and just do 20-minute sections or hour sections, just wherever you want to take it.
Cool. I think as regards to the look on with the training, I think that if you're going to be maybe looking at fitting it, it's really quite easy to set up. I said I had another instance last week. It was an emergency when it was like we had to take out an old mode dimmer unit basically, So basically what we've done was we left in the carcass and fitted the modules inside. We had it back up and running, I think in a couple of hours, and it was all basically on the customer's phone, and it was so easy to do, you know, and that was just in a couple of hours, you know. So like say when you're actually putting the modules and things, the dimming modules onto the app, it's really quite easy and straightforward. Nothing to worry about if anybody's unsure or as I said, I picked it up quite quickly, and it was and it's just so easy to do now. Let's see if we've got any other ones here.
Just on that training thing, I'm more than happy if anybody on this call wants to drop me a private message. I'll do a one-to-one training, or I can do group trainings as well. There's not an issue from that side of things.
And then I've got a question from Gary, probably for Chris. This is, how are you achieving a one-app solution when using different manufacturers across, for example, lighting and security systems?
Yeah, so the one app lifestyle is like the utopia that everybody's trying to achieve. In a lot of cases, it isn't achieved. I will say that if you had maybe a music system by Sonos and a lighting system by Lutron, yes, there is functionality in your Lutron system to play, pause, skip track, pull up a preset, but there's still great value in going into the Sonos app, pulling up all the album artwork, track listings, seeing all your presets, your playlists that you've stored. You can set alarms. So sometimes putting everything into one actually dilutes something that's a very good interface, and you end up not getting all the features. So, you know, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it might be that your customers live with 2 or 3 apps, but we live with 2 or 3 apps for messaging and email. You know, I don't do everything through WhatsApp. I have Gmail, I have WhatsApp, I have iMessage, I have Facebook Messenger. So it's achievable. There are single control system options out there that are the probably the more premium priced options for a smart home. But if you want instead of a single app, think of the voice assistant being the aggregator for smart home. Think of one voice assistant controlling security, blinds, lights, music, entertainment. An app isn't the goal that it should be nowadays, because people are getting app fatigue. They're fed up looking at screens all the time. They just want to yell at Madam A, or yell at the Google Assistant in the corner to say, turn on Netflix, play some music, dim the lights, show me the front door, is the garage door open? You can have a single voice platform instead of apps, and therefore it's not limited to the device in your pocket relying on a battery. You've got that touch screen or that voice speaker in the room or anywhere in the house that all age groups can interact with.
Cool. I've got another one here. Any advice for electricians with no existing client base, recommended target market in finding customers? Again, Chris, probably.
If you don't have an existing customer base, then you're just going to have to start knocking on doors and meeting people and talking to people at these business networking events, on social media. Set up your social media accounts. You can network without leaving your bedroom. You know, if you want to be radical, start producing videos on YouTube, or have a podcast, or have a blog. You know, if you don't feel comfortable on camera, write something and put it on Medium or Facebook. You know, 300 words can be as effective as 3 minutes of video. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to put in the hours after you've left site. You know, that's when you start hitting the social media apps to generate customers and to start to build up your profile as a local tech expert.
See on that one as well, I mean, the training that I've done time and time again, it comes up that electricians are getting brought in for doing the sockets and switches, your standard consumer boxes or consumer units, I should say, but they're then getting asked about CCTV because they've had a break-in, or they're getting asked about their Wi-Fi because their Wi-Fi isn't good. You're just waiting for those triggers People want help. They might not be directly asking for it, but they are throwing you what problems they've got. I mean, specifically for myself, I had my dad that needed his heating upgraded. Now he had a real old thermostat on the wall, so I went to change it. I opted for a Nest one, primarily because I could remotely change it, right? Every time I go around to my mum and dad's house, I get a list of tasks to do, right? I don't want that in my life. I've got 3 kids. I don't need more tasks to do. So it was great because I could adjust my dad's timings. But then he found out, and for him it was really simple because he's touching the rotary knob, putting it up and down. Real simple user interface for the older generation. But then you go up like 4 months later, he's got the app on his phone, he's away doing it himself. Your customer base is already there. You just need to be looking out for what are the pain points of your customers and listening for those things. Wi-Fi and security are the easy ones.
But if you don't have that customer base, Ross, you've just got to get out there and speak to people. And the other one of the key words I said was collaborate. You know, speak to a heating company and say, I can do your Nest for you. Speak to a lighting company, a lighting supplier, and say, I've got a great system for dimming these LED fixtures that's controlled by an app, controlled by voice, controlled by an astronomical clock. So you just got to have the conversations. You can't, you know, in some cases you can do a lot from behind your keyboard, but you've got to get out there and start shaking hands or whatever we're doing nowadays, fist bumping. So you've got to get out there.
I think, Ross, you've got a good point there, what you're saying with your dad. I don't think there's an age thing on this because, as I said, basically we had a customer last year and they were older as well, you know, and we fitted the RA2 Select with the app, and I was kind of unsure how they would take to it. They seen it, I showed them it working, they're like, okay, we'll take it. And then Mrs. Jackson doesn't even use the Pico, she just gets out with her iPad and she loves it, you know. It's so it's not a thing just for your target market, younger people as well. I think it can work for everybody, you know. It's just how it's, as you say, Chris, it's how you demonstrate it and how you put it, you actually show them how to work it, basically.
Yeah, the other thing as well is not everything has to be app-based. So you can just have things that are smart, but it doesn't have to be app-based. Obviously, that does add intelligence and extra cloud-based features. So, I mean, you probably all don't know what an RA2 system is or a Electrician system. So I've just got a couple of components I'm going to show you. So there's that, which is a wall switch that replaces, obviously there's a faceplate you can put around that, but that's what Craig's referring to as a Pico. And then you've got an inline dimmer or a relay, which is that. And that will wire into your lighting circuit before the first light, and it'll do up to 250 watts dimming of LED, or the switching one will do 6 amps. Now, when I'm saying you don't need an app, think of other ways to help yourself do business. So you've got those 2 components, which are essentially a switch or a dimmer that don't have cables between them. So I've had some electricians that are actually starting to work out, when I go to a job, if I have to re-raggle that wall to put a new cable in, that's going to cost me money to add an extra lighting circuit in. So what they're doing is jointing through the switch wire, getting a permanent supply up in the ceiling, hooking that onto the inline dimmer, connecting it to your lights, and then putting this RF switch, back to front, put that on your wall, and that's now controlling your lights. You don't have the hassle of trying to get decorators, plasterers, etc. Because if you're going to raggle a wall, to get it finished properly, it should be skimmed. I had one guy that even worked out what the cost of skimming the wall would be, and that was a lot more than adding those 2 components in. So there's different ways of doing this, different ways of doing it.
Can I just come in on that one as well? I had a scenario, it was the end of a really, really big build we did, and we fitted RA2 Select. It was a big, grand lounge. It was all finished, and they built this big TV unit, and they wanted LED in that. So you're saying, how can we do that? You know, so basically what we've done was we strategically placed a dimmer module inside the cabinet. It was spurred off, the electricians will know what I'm talking about here, it was spurred off the socket in the TV unit. So basically paired to the Pico, you come in, switched it on, and then it became part of that lighting circuit in that lounge. It wasn't actually on the same circuit. So as Ross was saying, it can sometimes make it so easy rather than devastation of the lines. You're running cables in at that stage of the job, you know, so it's another thing to look at with moving forward for you, you know.
Craig, the other big one that comes up against that where it's hard to wire scenarios is kitchen islands. People tend to want lighting round or under their kitchen island. Once it's tiled, once it's finished, once the substrate's got underfloor heating done, you're never going to get back to it, regardless what you're going to do. So that's where, again, they're pulling it off a local socket, because normally you've got the cooker or something in there. Normally you'd have a set of sockets. Fusing it down, putting that inline dimmer in, teaming it up with a Pico or the wireless switch, and going from there.
Another question, Chris, is there an alternative voice assistant, please, other than Google?
Yeah, so the big three that you see in UK homes is Amazon Alexa. I don't want to say it too much in case it triggers something in your home, but yeah, Madam A is a big one from Amazon. Then you've got Siri, which is built into every iOS device and even in more modern Macs. That you've got your voice assistant that can control devices through a platform called Apple HomeKit. And actually Lutron, throughout their products, are one of the brands that work with all three. And that's quite rare. I will say it's a challenge for companies to meet the requirements for all three major voice assistants. And that is the three options. If you go to other regions in the US, there's another brand out there called Josh.ai, who's just in the US, but privacy focused voice assistant platform. But in the UK, you're looking at the big three from Google, Amazon, and Apple.
Okay. I have another question for you, Chris. Have you had to deal with situations where a manufacturer suddenly drops support for a product you've recently installed, like Sonos threatened to do last year, and the client now has an old system because tech is moving so fast?
It happened yesterday. It happened yesterday with with Sonos.
Hopefully not with us.
Well, but there is a knock-on effect. Sonos have refreshed their software, and there is a risk that systems that worked with it in the past will not integrate with it, just through basic functions, play, pause, skip track. It looks like it's held together on the new S2 platform for Sonos, but tech is always going to evolve. I can't see how we can stop things, you know, maybe not working with each other after 5, 6, 7 years. You'd hope you would get that kind of longevity out of it. I would like to see some tech have an expiry date. You know, if a generation 1 thermostat is only going to be supported for 5 years, tell me when I buy it, so that I'm aware that I do have to spend another £179 again on a thermostat. And so be it. If I want to have smart controlled devices, then there might be some continual investment, which in comparison to having a dumb device which lasted multiple decades, it seems a bit extreme to have to change stuff. But, you know, tech companies will fall out with each other. Tech companies will change their platforms and the way they communicate with each other. It is part of it. We change our phones regularly. We don't need to change our home tech as regularly as that. But yeah, we change our cars, you know, things change and new features come out. New features like artificial intelligence, new features like 8K video. You cannot expect the device designed in 2011 to keep supporting new things from outside of their platform, like high resolution audio or voice recognition and face recognition, these kind of features.
Just on that point as well, we aren't in the process of obsoleting any of our residential products, but if we did, it would be 10-year support from date of obsoleting it. So we're at no stage doing this. The RA2 system has only been out 18 months. Prior to that, it was in the States for a further 12 months prior to that. So the systems, I wouldn't say it's in its infancy, it's been tried and tested, but the longevity of this is moving forward. We're going to be there, it's going to be solid. We're working with the big boys with regards to the integration. And you know what, even if that integration wasn't here tomorrow, what you're looking for is a scene setting or a dimmer system in your house. Unplug all the intelligence, just have the dimmer, have the switch, and everything will work. There's no issues there. So you're not taking the light switch away from people. And even if you want to wire your house traditionally, you can still put this stuff in. And if you ever want to go back to traditional, go back to traditional. But I don't think you will. Once you do this, you won't go back. It's a bit like electric windows on cars. If anyone remembers the wind-up windows, I do vaguely, but you would never go back to a wind-up window. So, yeah.
That's great. I think we're kind of ready to move on. I think that's just about it for the prize draw. Okay.
Just, Ross, there was a question right at the beginning about Lutron stuff being quite expensive for the average household. And also, how does it compare to other systems? And it mentioned specifically what are the differences in costs and programming. And this is a distinction for me with Lutron. The programming time is incredible.
Yeah, so the cost side of things, we've been known as the Ferrari of the lighting companies. Yeah, so we've always been known as the high-end, expensive, doing your footballers' houses, etc. We still do that, and we're not going to get away from that. The whole point of this system is a mid-level system. So typically we're pitching at houses from 300k to 800k. That's kind of where we're pitching the system to. Most people that I'm talking to are doing open plan kitchen diner, because that's where you've got multiple switching, you need multiple dimming locations, etc., which you cannot get from standard dimmers. You'd be putting a two-way or a three-way switch at secondary locations. And it's just taking away all that wall acne as well. I've walked into so many houses and seen 9-gang grid switches in a kitchen, and it just looks horrible. So that should be a scene set system at that stage. The cost element, the new mid system, send me your requirements of the jobs that you're looking at, and I'll tell you quickly what a budget is. There's not an issue from that side of things. How do we compare to ABB, free to home? Pricing wise, we're very similar to those guys. I've kind of came up against them a few jobs now. The one thing that I would say to you is the programming tech should make your life simple, whether it's the customer or you as the electricians. We have made this so simple for you to install, it's unbelievable. So simple to program, it's unbelievable. Really, you just need to have a try at it, and I'm more than happy to show you a separate demonstration on how easy this is to do. I think you'd be blown away and shocked when you start looking at other companies, ABB and all the rest. They are good companies, you're not going to get away from it, but you will not be programming that yourself. Whereas this kit, you will be programming it yourself. Nice and easy. Hopefully that covers the questions that got asked, hopefully. If not, send another message in and we'll answer.
I was just aware we were kind of running out of time there. It was just, I think we're going to do the draw just now. Is that okay?
Yep. The moment of suspense is Cindy there. Julian, give me.
Oh, here we go.
How many times did my name go on this wheel? Was it about 10 times?
And the winner is Glenn Palmer. Congratulations, Glenn. You've won a RE2 Select Starter Kit.
So Glenn will now do the training on how to set this up. So he's going to do a nice YouTube video to show you all how easy this is.
As I said, I think we're just going to pass back to Bob Kearney. He's going to.
Thanks, Craig. I'd like to thank everybody that's attended today's seminar. It's been very well attended. Up to 61 people attending at one stage. I hope you've all enjoyed the webinar and you've got all the information that you wanted from attending. I'd like to thank today's presenters, obviously, Craig, Chris, Ross. I'd like to thank BEMCO, in particular Julian and Sinai, for organising the event. And I understand that BEMCO will be in touch with all attending today's event to see if further help is needed or if they can do anything for you. If you do have any further questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with any of the individuals here. You can easily contact myself at Select and I'll forward any questions on to these guys. Or visit your local BEMCO branch in Glasgow or Edinburgh, and I'm sure they'll be delighted to help. So that concludes the seminar on how to be a smart home electrician, and we'll just close it at that. Thanks very much for attending.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks now.
Cheers.